Hi guys, it's Ellie from Nails. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be attaching full cover tips with Polygel, and we're going to do a super easy marble design. This is a great way for beginners to get into nails, and it's an inexpensive and really fast way of doing nails. It's also called the lazy girl method. So let's have a look at how we do it. So I've already prepped all of my nails. I have done proper cuticle work. I've matted the surface and applied primer. And I will drop a link to a video that I've done on how to prep my nails below. So I'm just going to put on a thin base coat on all the nails, and I'll be sure to cap the free edge and avoid the skin, and I'm going to give it a full cure. So this is the Polygel we'll be using today, and I am going to be using the full cover tips from Beetles. I'll make sure to link everything down below. So when I size up my tips, I'll make sure that they've got a good fit from sidewall to sidewall, and often if I'm doing Polygel or a hard gel attachment, what I'll do is I'll actually go one size up on the tip, because that prevents the product being all squished out. So I'm just going to put this upside down on a tip stand, and I've just used some tack it to hold it down. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go in with a really thin coat of base coat that I am not going to cure, because I want to use this to do a marble and I want it wet. Now you have to think opposite if you're working with the nail upside down. Now I'm going to do some gold foil details, and I want them to show from the top of the nail, which means I'm going to have to start with them first. I'm just going to take the tiniest amount of some white gel paint. Now you've got to go really thin on this, because it needs to cure all the way through with the Polygel afterwards. So I'm just going to put in some small details, and I'm going to pull them out with a liner brush, just an old liner brush. And don't be heavy-handed here. It's better if you do it in several steps than just doing all in one go. And the Polygel I'm using has got like a milky white, so I think that's going to really emphasise it and look nice. Now I've tried to make some veins, so I've just put 3 really tiny blobs of black that I'm going to spread really carefully, just to give the marble effect. And you've got to work a little bit quicker so it doesn't kind of blend in too grey. So I really just wanted to try something. I've seen people have used Polygel and have used a base coat as the slip solution that you need so that the brush doesn't stick. So what I've done is I've just grabbed an amount of Polygel with my spatula and put it in the tip, and a little tiny bit of base gel that I am going to use to spread. And it's actually working really well. Now Polygel won't go anywhere, and this one is an especially firm one that I like to use, so you can just pat it and pull it out, and make sure you do a thin amount. Just remember, all you're doing is you're attaching the nail and encapsulating a little bit. You're not actually building it, so that's why you don't need as much. When I'm happy with that, I'm going to place it on my finger, and what I'm going to do is I am going to start the cuticle and gently push down. And because I've gone one size up, it actually sits quite nicely on the nail without me having to apply too much force, because otherwise the product would seep out the sides. If you do get any spillage, what you can do is just get a brush with some alcohol and wipe it off. Just make sure that it's really nicely placed, and I am going to use my finger just to help hold that down in the light so that it cures and doesn't move. I'm just going to give it a real quick flash cure first. I'm going to move on to the ring finger when that's done, and I'm going to do it in the exact same way with the base coat and the foil first, but this time I thought I'd do it a little bit differently and go in with black before the white. I wanted it a little bit darker. Again, you really want a tiny amount, and it's better to not have enough and add more than actually have too much. And if you do have too much, you'd be better off removing some, because otherwise it can get really messy. I mean, I think this is coming out really well, to be quite honest. So far, so good. Now, when I'm done with this, I am just going to flash cure it for a few seconds before I put some Polygel on. I'm going to be honest, I've got a real sort of love-hate relationship with Polygel. And the reason it's in a pot is because I find it sometimes easier to control. So this is just something I've squeezed out from a tube over into the pot. So in order not to get sticky all over the place, which I'm not succeeding very well with. So I'm just going to repeat the same steps and apply that. One thing I'm going to do though is I'm definitely going to use base gel more as a slip solution. It works so much better. And I think this is a really great way for beginners to get into nails as well. As I said, it's cheap and easy. I mean, you can use any polygel, whatever you want. So yeah, good option. Right, again, laying it down at the cuticle first and putting it on top without applying too much pressure. I've kind of got a suction here, which is really, really great. So when I'm happy with the way that looks, I'm just going to give that a flash cure. So, right, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to finish the rest of the nails off. I'm going to do them all in the exact same way. And when I'm done with them, I am going to give them a full cure in the lamp. First of all, I'm going to do them like we always do, and then I'm going to flip my hand upside down because this is like a milky white gel, polygel, and I'm going to cure them from underneath as well so that we're completely sure that they're cured all the way through. So I'm just going to use my 100 over 180 grit and sharpen up the sides just in case any little bits are poking out, and just really refine the shape. So just take 2 seconds to do that. Right, when that's done, I am going to go in with my E-File medium sanding band and just kind of try to blend in the cuticle a little bit so we don't have any ledges, since we are using full cover tips, and just make them look really nice and flush, and just trying to get rid of any kind of bits if they're left. And I'm going to show you a really good bit afterwards, but as I said, this is just great to kind of blend in and soften the edges. When that's done, what I'm going to do is I am just going to mat down the surface of the nail because I am going to be using some top coat, so we want to make sure we've got some max adhesion, but we don't need to do a lot of work. Like I said, it's just literally whipping over. Now, one of the bits that I am going to be using next is one of my favourites. I think it's great for getting out polygel or gel or whatever that's stuck underneath the cuticle, like stubborn little bits and pieces. Now, don't poke too hard, just kind of go really gently around and try to lift it up, and it will really, really make your cuticle work look so much nicer. So if there is a bit that I ever would recommend, it is one of these. These are really great and they're super inexpensive as well, and you can also clean underneath the nails. I'm just going to really take my time with this because, to be quite honest, with full cover tips, I think it's the cuticle that's kind of make or break. So I would definitely spend a few extra minutes getting this to look really nice, and this is what's going to make it look super professional as well. I'm using this bit with a really low speed, by the way, and it's not necessary to prod and poke because this could be a bit sharp at the end and you don't want to hurt yourself or a client, so just take it easy. What I'm going to do when I'm done with these is that I'm going to give them a good dusting off, and I'm going to cleanse them with some alcohol before I go in with a thin coat of top coat that I'm going to cure, and then I'm going to get back to you with the final result. This is what they ended up looking like. I think they look really cool, and they were really easy to do. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit me with a like, a subscribe, and hit that notification bell for next time. Bye.